Imagine this. You've met someone who seems almost too good to be true. They're kind, attentive, and have an undeniable charm. Their small gestures make you feel seen and appreciated. You start to believe you've finally found someone who truly understands you, someone who sees the world in a similar way. But as time goes on, something feels off. Their small criticisms become bigger, more personal. Their praise becomes rare, replaced by subtle digs or dismissive comments. You start to feel unsure of yourself, even questioning your own reality. If this resonates, you might be dealing with a covert narcissist, one of the most insidious personalities in relationships. Covert narcissism can be hard to spot because it doesn't look like the typical, grandiose narcissism that movies often depict. But its effects are deeply damaging. This type of narcissism hides behind a carefully curated facade, making it harder for victims to see until they're already entangled in its web. Covert narcissists are subtle, passive-aggressive, and highly skilled at disguising their intentions. This makes them especially dangerous in romantic relationships, where their behavior can gradually undermine their partner's self-worth and emotional well-being. Unlike overt narcissists, who flaunt their achievements and openly crave admiration, covert narcissists tend to appear humble or even self-deprecating. They often position themselves as misunderstood or mistreated by others, which can elicit sympathy and deepen their hold over their partners. But beneath this exterior lies a powerful sense of entitlement and a need for control that can leave their partners feeling drained, confused, and increasingly isolated. Are you ready to dive into the hidden dangers of covert narcissism in love? Let's take a closer look at how to spot a covert narcissist, how they can affect your mental health, and most importantly, how to protect yourself from their harmful influence. If you're finding this topic helpful and eye-opening, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with anyone you think could benefit from this information. It's time to spread awareness about covert narcissism and help people protect themselves from these destructive dynamics. Now, let's start unraveling the complexities of covert narcissism in love. A covert narcissist doesn't look like what you'd expect. Unlike overt narcissists who loudly broadcast their achievements and crave admiration, covert narcissists often operate under the radar. They don't seek the spotlight with boastful stories or flashy displays. Instead, they adopt a more humble or even vulnerable appearance. They may express self-doubt or insecurity, drawing sympathy from others. However, this is part of their tactic to gain control and establish emotional dependency. By presenting themselves as fragile or wounded, they make their partner feel needed and responsible for their emotional well-being. This creates a dynamic where the partner may feel obligated to care for them, sometimes at the expense of their own needs and boundaries. At first, covert narcissists can come across as incredibly compassionate and attentive. They seem to listen deeply, offering support and understanding in ways that make you feel truly valued. But this empathy is often calculated, a means of gathering information about your insecurities and vulnerabilities. They are astute observers of others' emotional landscapes, picking up on cues they can later exploit. Once they know what makes you feel insecure or vulnerable, they subtly start using that knowledge to keep you off balance. Covert narcissists are experts at passive-aggressive behavior. They won't openly criticize or belittle you in ways that are easy to identify. Instead, they may use backhanded compliments or small, seemingly innocuous comments that make you question your own judgment. For example, they might say something like, "I just think it's so brave of you to wear that outfit," which can plant seeds of self-doubt. Or they might imply that you're overly sensitive when you bring up something that bothers you, causing you to question whether your feelings are valid. This type of gaslighting is a hallmark of covert narcissism, and it's incredibly damaging because it slowly erodes your self-esteem without you realizing it. In relationships, covert narcissists rely on a technique called love bombing. This is when they shower their partner with attention, affection, and affirmation at the beginning of the relationship, creating an intense bond. However, Once they feel secure in the relationship, they gradually withdraw that affection, leaving their partner feeling abandoned and desperate for the connection they once shared. This creates a cycle where the partner is constantly seeking validation and approval, never quite able to regain the closeness they initially felt. This push and pull dynamic keeps their partner emotionally hooked and increasingly dependent on the narcissist's approval. One of the most harmful aspects of covert narcissism in a relationship is the way it isolates the victim. Covert narcissists have a subtle but effective way of separating their partners from friends and family. They might imply that other people don't truly understand or appreciate their partner, or they may make their partner feel guilty for spending time with others. Over time, the victim may find themselves increasingly reliant on the covert narcissist for emotional support, not realizing that this isolation is a form of control. Because covert narcissists are often so skilled at masking their true nature, it can take years before their partners fully realize the depth of the manipulation. Victims may notice that they feel more anxious, less confident, and even depressed after years in a relationship with a covert narcissist. The subtle, persistent undermining of their self-worth can leave lasting scars, making it difficult to trust others or themselves in future relationships. Many victims of covert narcissism describe feeling like they've lost themselves in the relationship, as their sense of identity and self-esteem were gradually eroded. Healing from a relationship with a covert narcissist requires time, self-reflection, and often professional support. It's essential to reconnect with friends and family who can provide emotional support and help you rebuild your confidence. Therapy can be especially beneficial, as it allows you to process the psychological abuse and understand the dynamics that made you vulnerable to the covert narcissist's tactics. Educating yourself about narcissistic behavior is also a crucial step in preventing future relationships with similar patterns. By learning to recognize the signs of covert narcissism, you can better protect yourself and establish healthy boundaries. Remember, the subtle nature of covert narcissism doesn't make it any less harmful than overt narcissism. In some ways, it can be even more damaging because it's harder to identify and escape. Covert narcissists may not seem like bad people at first glance. They're often likable, charismatic, and even self-deprecating, which makes their manipulation more difficult to spot. But once you understand the tactics they use, like passive aggression, love bombing, gaslighting, and isolation, you can begin to see through their facade and protect yourself from their influence. So if you're wondering whether someone in your life might be a covert narcissist, pay attention to how you feel after interacting with them. Do you often feel drained, anxious, or unsure of yourself? Do you find yourself constantly seeking their approval or feeling guilty for spending time with others? These are red flags that shouldn't be ignored. Trust your instincts and don't hesitate to reach out for support if you need it. Thank you for joining us in this deep dive into the hidden dangers of covert narcissism and love. Awareness is the first step to breaking free from harmful relationships. And by educating yourself, you're already on the path to protecting your well-being. If you found this video valuable, please subscribe, like, and share it with others who might benefit from understanding these dynamics. Your support helps us continue to create content that empowers people to recognize and escape toxic relationships. Remember, you deserve a relationship where you're truly valued, respected, and loved. Stay strong and take care of yourself.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our channel, where we dive deep into understanding the complexities of human behavior and relationships. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell icon so you never miss an update from us. Today, we're going to explore a fascinating topic. Here's the surprising reason why narcissists can't forget and replace you in their life. Stay tuned, because this might just change the way you view relationships and interactions with narcissists. To begin, it's important to understand what narcissism is. Narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, is a complex psychological condition characterized by an inflated sense of self-importance, a deep need for excessive attention and admiration, and a lack of empathy for others. Narcissists often display arrogant, manipulative, and demanding behavior. They see relationships as a means to bolster their own self-esteem rather than as a mutual exchange of care and affection. The idealization-devaluation-discard cycle. One of the most perplexing aspects of narcissism is the idealization-devaluation-discard cycle. This cycle starts with idealization, where the narcissist places their new partner on a pedestal, showering them with attention and praise. This phase can feel exhilarating and can make the partner feel exceptionally valued. However, as time passes, the narcissist's interest wanes, and they enter the devaluation phase. During this stage, the narcissist becomes critical, distant, and emotionally abusive, undermining the partner's self-worth. Finally, the discard phase occurs, where the narcissist abruptly ends the relationship, often leaving their partner confused and hurt. Why narcissists can't forget you. Given this cycle, it might seem logical to assume that once a narcissist discards someone, they would easily move on and forget them. Surprisingly, this is often not the case. Here are the key reasons why narcissists struggle to forget and replace their former partners. 1. Need for narcissistic supply. Narcissists thrive on what psychologists term narcissistic supply, which is the attention, admiration, and emotional energy they extract from others. Their sense of self-worth relies heavily on this supply, fueling their self-esteem and identity. Even after discarding someone, they may still seek them out for validation and ego-boosting. This incessant need for external affirmation often leads them to manipulate or exploit people, ensuring a constant source of admiration to sustain their fragile self-image. 2. Control and power dynamics. Control is a central theme in the life of a narcissist, as they derive a profound sense of power and self-worth from manipulating and dominating those around them. This need for control extends into their relationships, where they often exert significant influence over their partners. When a former partner moves on, it signifies a loss of control for the narcissist, triggering feelings of vulnerability and insecurity. This can be deeply unsettling for them, prompting attempts to re-establish contact or assert their influence again. These actions are driven by a desire to regain the lost control and reinforce their dominance, highlighting the pervasive and relentless nature of their need for control in all aspects of their lives. 3. Fear of abandonment and emptiness. Despite their outward confidence, many narcissists harbor an underlying fear of abandonment and pervasive feelings of emptiness. The end of a relationship can significantly exacerbate these fears, making it exceptionally challenging for them to let go. This emotional turmoil often leads narcissists to ruminate incessantly about their former partner, sometimes obsessively. In an attempt to fend off these uncomfortable and distressing emotions, they may make repeated attempts to re-enter their ex-partner's life. This behavior stems from their deep-seated need for validation and fear of confronting their own inner void and insecurity. Consequently, their actions can range from seeking reconciliation to engaging in manipulative tactics to regain a sense of control and avoid facing their emotional vulnerabilities. This pattern of behavior highlights the complex and often paradoxical nature of narcissism, where the facade of self-assurance masks a fragile and anxious inner world. 4. Lack of genuine self-reflection. Narcissists often lack the ability to engage in genuine self-reflection and personal growth, which hinders their emotional development. Instead of processing their emotions and learning from their past relationships, they are more likely to project blame onto their former partners. This defense mechanism prevents them from acknowledging their own faults and contributions to the relationship's problems. Consequently, this lack of introspection can lead them to linger on past relationships, as they never truly address the underlying issues within themselves. Without confronting these deep-seated problems, narcissists remain trapped in a cycle of unresolved emotions and failed relationships, perpetually unable to move forward or improve their behavior. This cycle often results in a pattern of repeated mistakes and emotional turmoil, affecting both themselves and those around them. 5. Idealization of the past. Narcissists tend to idealize the past, particularly when they feel dissatisfied with their current circumstances. This often leads them to romanticize previous relationships with a skewed perspective, remembering only the initial idealization phase while conveniently forgetting the turmoil, conflicts, and devaluation that followed. This selective memory can make it difficult for them to move on and fully replace their former partners. They might constantly compare new relationships to the rose-tinted memories of the past, finding current partners lacking in comparison. This creates a cycle where no present relationship can measure up to the idealized version of a past one. Moreover, this behavior can be a coping mechanism for their deep-seated insecurities, allowing them to escape into a glorified past rather than confront and address their present issues. As a result, narcissists may repeatedly return to or obsess over past relationships, hindering their ability to form healthy, lasting connections in the future. This persistent longing for an idealized past not only affects their relationships but also perpetuates their dissatisfaction with their current life, trapping them in a perpetual state of discontent. 6. Comparative mindset. Narcissists are often highly competitive and have a constant need to feel superior to others. When they see their former partners thriving or in new relationships, it can trigger feelings of jealousy and inadequacy. They may compare their new sources of narcissistic supply unfavorably to their former partners, leading them to idealize past relationships and struggle with moving on. Breaking free from a narcissist. Understanding why a narcissist can't forget and replace you is crucial, especially if you are or have been involved with one. Here are some strategies to help you break free and protect your emotional well-being. 1. Establish firm boundaries. Setting clear and firm boundaries is essential. Narcissists will often test these boundaries, so it's important to remain consistent and not give in to their manipulative tactics. Communicate your limits clearly and stick to them. 2.